Hello, welcome to the Away Day Experience Show. You're watching Back of the Net. We're an AFC Bournemouth fan channel, and you've come to the right place for cherries and Premier League content. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
Throughout the season, we're running an Away Day Experience Show. What is that, I hear you cry? It's rating an away day experience in the Premier League, because that's what we do, Tom. And we go to every game and we like to tell people everything apart from the football. The football doesn't count. We don't think about it, do we? It's all about everything else.
Yeah, nothing to do with what happened on the pitch, which might be fortunate coming into this one. But yeah, it's about everything in and around the away day, not what happened on the pitch.
Okay, and so what kind of factors do we talk about then, Tom?
Well, we go in for the pre-match experience.
Yep.
So get in there. What's it like before the game? Do you go to a pub? If you do, what was that like?
Yeah.
So everything before a ball's kicked, basically.
Yeah.
Then we get onto the concourse and the refreshments itself. So what's it like inside, underneath, outside, if you're allowed out, and all that stuff. Then we talk about the stadium and the view, and yeah, basically what's the stadium like? Do we like the way it's been built, the way it's been set up, and also what your view's like? Some are more restricted than others. And then within that stadium, you get the atmosphere. So we talk about the atmosphere from the home supporters on the day, and if they got it rocking, or if they didn't say boo to a goose. And then on the last one, the people. We added this one in this year because we talked to a lot of the home supporters, get them on the vlogs, see what they're like, and just gauge what the chat's like with the people. So, and then we get all of them, and then we think, where should we put them in our little tier list?
Yeah. Love it. We'll reveal what club we're doing this week. I think you all probably know by the title. But what happens at the end is we put on a tier list. There is the tier list so far, Tom. And we got 5 categories. And look, I'll talk you through them. First one is banging visit. Superb visit. Hopefully, definitely going again there the next season. A decent day as well. Not quite the top levels, but you've got a few clubs in there already. I can't complain, is bang in the middle. You've got men, not the best, which is self-explanatory really. And then what a waste of petrol, regardless of whether we're going by train, hovercraft or whatever. It is a waste of petrol. Wouldn't be bothering to do that again. I mean, we will, because we're Ball fans, but we've got a club in there already, mate, and they didn't score very well, did they? I wonder whether today's team will score well. Who are we doing, Tom? Leeds United. This could be tasty.
Yes, I am the firework man, Leeds fans. I am firework man.
We'll start on fireworks man because, but yeah, this is fireworks man. Even fireworks man. He's given us some credit after the game.
Firework man.
Yeah.
Love that.
Oh, God,
on Twitter, the stuff you were getting in your mentions, mate.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, I wish I was so intelligent that I did that on purpose to get interaction, but I was actually just being sarcastic. Probably come across a bit Brent, didn't I, really?
Yeah.
But it was, I'm glad this one's not talking about what happened on the pitch though, mate, because obviously it was a win for Leeds.
Yeah.
But let's get into the away day itself.
Yeah, pre-match experience then.
Quite a trip.
Yeah, it is quite a trip. What was it, about 4.5 hours or something?
Like
maybe even touching 5 with the stops, maybe even a little bit over that. But, thankfully the motorways were clear. On Saturday morning, we left at about about 7 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah, half 7, something like that.
It wasn't too bad, and we used a sort of your parking space, which was sort of 5 minutes away from the Dry Salters pub, and it was an ideal space to park in, to be fair. And we went to the Dry Salters, which is an away fan pub, but also home fans can go in as well, but they accept away fans. And it was a really lively atmosphere. It was quite buzzing. It got busy really quickly. We thought it was open at 12. It obviously was open earlier than that because there were queues already at the bar.
Well, that's what I was saying. That was the only thing. I quite like the Dry Salters. Like you say, it was mixed. It was kind of anyone could go in really. They were away friendly if you were behaving yourself, which fortunately we all were. I like the fact that the parking and the accessibility from the parking to the Dry Salters to Leeds Stadium is all within 5-10 minutes, so really, really handy. But as you say, mate, so you're searching because you're going, right, there's no point of us rushing because they're not open till 12. Yeah. That's what it says on their website and on your Google search and stuff. We got in there, I think I sat down at 2 minutes past 12 and it was absolutely rammed.
Heaving in there.
So they need to, if anyone from Dry Salt was watching, just update that. But apart from that, staff, and they put a fair amount of staff on because it was bloody busy.
And they did 2 pinters, obviously.
Yeah, that was handy.
It sort of makes sense, I suppose, because it did get quite busy very quickly. I don't know if they did food or not. I didn't see anyone eating.
I certainly wasn't going to attempt that with how busy it was, but for the pub, for the parking, for the walking distance, it was pretty good, mate.
One thing I would say is if you're an away fan, you got Leeds next week or whatever, or one of the games, they did split the bar into like 3/4 cash and card, 1/4 just cash. So there's a dedicated cash. Who has cash these days? No one. If you had cash, it'd been quids in straight up to the bar. So
if you are watching this and thinking, well, not everyone will watch this, maybe just take a bit of cash with it. Go to a cash point before, because them queues were smaller.
Yeah, and you know what? From the Dry Salters to the Ellen Road, it was about a 10-minute walk or so. As pre-match, look, there were plenty of things to do in Leeds. You know, big city. The weather sort of meant that it wasn't particularly great. Didn't have lots of outdoor options to do, but as pre-match experience go, I'd say it was fairly standard. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it, mate. So I'm gonna give it a rating out of 10. I'm gonna go for a solid 7.
Solid 7. Okay then, Concourse and Refreshments next. Ellen Road. Obviously, we're in the, what was it, the West Stand, and it's not very spacious concourse, I've got to say. Nice to be able to look out over some parts of the city that you probably wouldn't want to look out over, but it was all right, but crowded.
So crowded, yeah.
Very small and compact.
Yeah, and you can't go out or anything, so you're really shoved in there, and obviously, yeah, it just gets a little bit, and I can imagine when other clubs go there as well, it's going to get really, I mean, we didn't take the full allocation, did we? And it was absolutely rammed in there.
To 2,000.
Yeah, so, yeah, definitely a little bit claustrophobic in there, and I think I got an Amstel half time, which was fine and relatively priced, unlike when you go to London. But
it was quite short staffed in there.
That's what I was going to say.
Queues everywhere, and I sort of knew someone at the front of the queue. I said, "Oh look, can I just grab a beer off you?" And it was that was okay for me, but
I can't get my head round these. And don't get me wrong, Leeds aren't the first and won't be the last. But I can't get my head round when they know beforehand how many away fans are going to turn up when they have a couple of staff there. I just can't get my head around it. I don't understand why they don't think, or maybe we should have some more staff today because it's going to be absolutely rammed in there at half time. But they were another one that didn't do that.
We're only little, mate, Bournemouth.
We're only little Bournemouth, true. But it was...
And old age pensioners don't drink, do they? So
no, exactly. I would go... I think if I had to describe it in one word, it would be average, so I've got to go 5.
Yeah. Very. And look, as a result of the short-staffedness, a lot of us missed the Dom Solanke goal, which, you know...
Don't talk about the game.
No, but, you know, that it was like a 25-minute half-time when it really should have been 15.
Yeah,
but, a stadium, mate, it's an old-school ground, and as such, it's quirky, and, you know, it seems to be in an area where if it needs redevelopment, they've got the space to redevelop it. There's a few houses behind one, but it looks like, you know, the area as a whole, if they wanted to improve the facility, they probably could, rather than move elsewhere, and that's what I hope they'd do.
Yeah.
No point in moving to a bowl, and it's still got its quirkiness. And I mean, where we were stood was the very corner of the top stand, and we could see behind the scoreboard. Okay. There was this netting that kept on draping over our heads. I mean, maybe not your head, mate, but
nope.
A lot
didn't even realise there was netting.
One lad actually got told off by a steward, didn't he, for pulling on the netting?
Pulling on the netting or something.
Something.
Not sure. It's a nice stadium. I always like it when you're quite close to their main crowd as well. We get onto the atmosphere, but the home supporters, because you can have a bit of banter, a bit of football banter with them, which is always good fun. Part of it all.
A few pillars in the way.
But yeah, I was going to say stadium, quite like it.
Yeah.
View.
A few people to our left as well had I think it was like a gantry of some kind. They must have had some commentators or TV crews at the top, which again wasn't particularly great either. So,
I mean, fortunately for me, it meant that I didn't have to see their winner, because I just kind of turned my head, because you have to kind of lean to almost see that side.
Yeah, that's right, you do. I mean, I think in the second half we actually went a few rows forward, didn't we, to be able to see them. And from a photography perspective, when you maybe more advanced, better cameras can deal with this better, but I've got my little vlogging camera, so when I'm looking at the pitch, you've got your sort of crowd in front of you that looks dark on screen, then you've got the top of the roof that is also dark, and then everything in the middle is just white on camera because it's trying to deal with exposure, so I had to zoom in, and then you can see the green. Are you interested in this?
No, I'm not, so they definitely ain't.
All right, but that, technically difficult.
I would have gone pretty decent for the stadium, but the view wasn't great. So I'm gonna go 6. I'm gonna go 6. It would have been higher, but that view in the away end is not ideal.
Okay, 6 for stadium with view. But does the stadium design lend to a good atmosphere? It does. I mean, maybe the design has got nothing to do with it. Maybe it's just the vociferous nature of Leeds fans, but what did you make of the atmosphere? Was it any good?
It was superb. Superb.
It was
if you haven't watched any of the other
it was loud.
away day shows we've done, like especially if you're a Leeds fan and just come across this, look back on them, because most of the time we're very critical because it's been really disappointing this season in terms of the home fan kind of loudness. This was another level, wasn't it? It was another level to all the others. Yes, you could say, they went a bit quiet at 3-1, but who isn't going to go a bit quiet when they're 3-1 down? But they carried that team over the line, in my opinion.
Why is it so different? Why is it so like? So they're standing behind the goal, right?
Yeah.
They're on their feet throughout the whole
Probably
match.
helps. Yeah. I think the fact you're next to the away fans helps because you can get that back going, as I mentioned.
I don't think they got safe standing, but they're all just stood. Anyway, why do we not do that? Why, are we just too respectful down south at Bournemouth? Because you're like, we'll get told off for like standing up, and
maybe.
Invariably we'll do what the stewards say. There's a certain part of the North Stand where people do just like stand up throughout.
Yeah.
But
I think sometimes you have to just go. The Leeds supporters are pretty vocal, and it's as simple as that. I think they get it rocking in there, and everyone knows that, and you kind of expect that. But yeah, when it got back to 3-2, and they were really trying to get, they helped them massively, mate. And it's that 12th man kind of thing.
I even said this on the vlog. Like penalty, what was it, after 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Whatever?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Like there were limbs. There were limbs for a penalty, and like people chucking their arms about all over for a penalty
After 3 minutes, yeah.
And they were really loud. But like you say, we were giving them obviously some grief at 2-1 and 3-1. Leeds are falling apart again, and they, sarcastically
sang it back to us.
I'm surprised they understand sarcasm after Firework Day, Mr. Firework Man.
Yeah,
however,
they proved they did at that moment.
Yeah.
I predict the riot at the end really good.
Mate, they were really loud, like really loud.
They were. I'm trying to think. Even going into last season, obviously we were in a different league, we're in the Championship, and we started doing these away shows, and I'm thinking about atmospheres, and I'm thinking, have I seen a better?
That could get them over the line.
It's
honestly,
that crucial.
That could really get. I'm sure on the pitch they'll be wanting to do that, but that crowd can massively help them.
Yeah, absolutely. 10.
Wow.
Go 10 is
wow.
superb. When you compare it, mate, to the games we've got and ourselves, for home fans, it's the loudest. I'd be very surprised if someone beats that. I've been previously to like Crystal Palace, who do quite well, and there's a few teams that I'm sure will, but they credit where credit's due, mate. They really get it going in there, and fair play to them. It must be really enjoyable being in that home end when you win the football match, because they get it bouncing, and hopefully we can learn from that a little bit, because it certainly, as you said, mate, will help them get points, in my opinion. 10.
Brilliant stuff. All right, nice one. Next category, the people. The people of Leeds, what are they like? Well, on Twitter, at about 7:30, they were horrible. Not nice people at all. And I cannot believe that, we've got it. How can they believe that you honestly thought that the fireworks were... Anyway, we've got that. Of course he knew, alas.
It's a shame, because it means they didn't watch the vlog either. Because if they watched the vlog, I actually mentioned bonfire light after.
There's context. And weirdly, there was an article that came out that actually suggested that the fireworks were being released to be in time of the goal, which was absolutely crazy. But
I don't know how I knew that.
People trying to teach us about the tradition of Guy Fawkes and blowing up their...
Yeah, it's difficult, I think, because off camera, before we started the chat, I'm kind of... we were like joking around, but then obviously when I'm on camera, I've said like massive club and that, and it looks like I'm being really serious, but that's because we've been talking about it for ages.
You know what's weird is that we were stood outside. We were stood outside, and we weren't going to bother doing a fan cams. We were just going to do a reaction back at our car. We thought, you know what, we'll do it. There were a few people hanging about, so we did it, and then it's probably one of the most popular fan cams this season.
You're welcome.
And it was you presenting, mate. So you did a good job. And look, I chatted to a few people before the game in the Dry Salts pub, father and son. And they were great, really nice people, really respectful, quite humble. Also the fans that I was meeting on the way to the game in person, they're great, mate. Very grounded people, salt the earth people. Love that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think in person, no problems at all. As we mentioned earlier in the pub, there was a mix in there, no problems whatsoever. They were all really nice and just love their football club. And
are the wounds healing? The 1990 wounds healing? Because I know that we were singing 1990. You weren't even born. The irony being
that I was singing it and I was born in 91. But no, it's all part of it. It's always going to be there. But I think Yeah, listen, I think there's going to be so
it's
many.
better, it's better.
There's going to be so many vocal fans now from both sets of supporters that weren't or were like a child. So yeah, and we haven't played them a lot in that time. Everything's changed a lot. But yeah, as you say, mate, I think the people I met there, no problems, really nice people. Some of the kind of fan channels they have, really great as well.
Really good, yeah.
It was just the disappointing thing is just some of them on Twitter are a little bit, no, but that's with every car. I'm not going to stick that Leeds on that. It's just one of them things. So yeah, they were absolutely fine, mate. So I'm going to put them above average because who cares about Twitter at the end of the day? Let's whack a nice solid 6 in there because they were fine.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. And just briefly on the fan channels, got to say, obviously you're at the Overlap on Monday. You can watch that. If you check out our community pages on YouTube, there's a link there. Tom was obviously on, and also one Leeds fan channel as well. I think he speaks really well.
It's great.
It's one of those shows where you sort of, they had Man United, Man City and stuff, and then you kind of drift off when like Wolves and Aston Villa didn't really care. But then when the Leeds fans spoke, my ears pricked up a little bit, and I thought it was good. Also, the Square Ball podcast as well, which is on YouTube. They're very good, very dry, but I like their propaganda show, which I enjoy. I actually watched regardless of it being Bournemouth. I've seen other ones, Brentford, when they've taken the piss out of Billy the Bee from Besotted. Love that, all done in a friendly way. And if those are the kind of people that we effectively met in person.
Yes, of course.
In the pubs and stuff. So yeah, sound. Okay, all this now, if you add it all together and then divide it, but no, we don't do any algorithms or whatever to work out where it goes on the tier list. But the tier list is on screen now. And we got to judge it based on, unfortunately, like the fact it's Saturday 3 o'clock. The weather will have an effect. The journey up there, all these different things will have an effect on where we're putting particular teams. Fortunately, it was a 3 p.m, which meant that we could get there relatively early. It wasn't a sort of midweek night game.
True.
The journey's a bit of a ball ache, really. But
yeah, it's just quite far, isn't it? And there's a few things in it that don't help them. But
I'm going to cut out 2 straight away. Can I?
Oh, of course.
Can I do this for you? I don't think it was a banging visit.
No.
I don't. But also, it wasn't a waste of petrol.
Absolutely not.
So it's in that group of 3, I would say.
I think I know where I'm going to put it.
Okay.
I'm going to put a bit of context in. I think when we've gone through the categories as well, just thinking about it now, there's a lot of, in virtually every category, apart from atmosphere, which was right at the top, virtually every category there's like pros and cons, to different bits and bobs. Like we said about the concourse, like there's certain bit, and then it had that, and we're doing that for a lot of it. Stadium pretty decent, and the views not, and it was quite up and down. I enjoyed it, but is it one of my favourites? Probably not. So I'm gonna whack it straight in the middle in Can't Complain alongside Man City.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
It's easier. We always say this, by the way. Sorry if you've seen a lot of these shows, but we might like rejig it at the end of the season because obviously, the further you go on, the more you got to compare to. Yeah. So when you look back, you can rejig because you can compare. And so what I'm doing now is looking at the teams that are on there that we've got in the tier list, and I'm thinking miles better than West Ham, nowhere near as good as Newcastle, not quite as good as the Free and Decent Day. So that's why it's going in Can't Complain. I think it probably edges City.
Yeah, I think it does. And I think if we had more time to check out the city, because it's a good, vibrant city, it could have the potential to go into Decent Day. It really could.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully we're both Premier League sides next season, and maybe we can check them out. So Leeds fans, there you go. That's our review of the away day. Leeds going into Can't Complain. Really interesting. So we haven't got one of these until after Christmas now, mate.
What will our next one be? Chelsea, 27th now, isn't it? That'd be an interesting one.
Christmas special.
Yeah, because one of the London clubs didn't do very well in there, so we'll see how this one fares. But yeah, that's the last one before the break, mate. Yeah, really weird.
If you like this kind of content and to track your side throughout the season, then hit the subscribe button. Once you do, the bell will become active. Press the bell, then it'll alert you to any new content. But a like would be truly appreciated. If there are parts of the city that you think next time you come up, you've got to see this place, you've got to do that, you've got to do this, put it in the comments because we'll read every one. And then we'll take note ahead of next season where we'll both be Premier League sides, we hope. Tom, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure, mate. Looking forward to doing some more after the break.
Love that from you. See you in the next one. Up the cherries.
Up the cherries. Remember.